What started as meatloaf and awkward small talk ended with a kiss, a crisis, and half the family blocking us. Alright, Reddit, I don't even know how to expand on this mess without sounding like I'm making it up for karma, but I swear on Dennis's weird toe ring that every word you're about to read actually happened. This is not satire. This is not fanfic. This is the slow-motion car crash that is my life, and you're in the front seat. So yeah, me, 25M. Mildly jaded, emotionally constipated, formerly chill. Raised by a single mom who believes in healing crystals but not paying for therapy. She's the type of woman who cries during shampoo commercials but could stab a man with a fondue fork if he insulted her potato salad. Her love life? Absolute circus. She marries men the way people collect Funko Pops, chaotically and without explanation. Her current husband, Dennis, is, how do I describe this? He's like if a golf course came to life and started telling bad dad jokes. Think cargo shorts, white New Balance shoes, and a deep commitment to Facebook memes. He married my mom 3 years ago, which technically made him my stepdad, but since I was already out of the house and emotionally detached, I just pretended he didn't exist. Dennis has kids. That was always background noise to me. Dennis has a daughter out west, my mom would say while burning incense and microwaving kale. Lexi, I think, or maybe Alexa, I don't remember, something General Z, I never met her. Never cared. She was just another NPC in the broken Sims game that is our family. But then came the cursed dinner. It was one of those forced, let's all pretend we're normal, nights. My mom texted me about it 3 times and called me twice. It's important, she said. Lexi's moving back and I want everyone to meet. The guilt was thick, so I showed up, already mentally checked out, prepared to sit through 2 hours of awkward small talk, overcooked meatloaf, and Dennis bragging about his fantasy football league. Then she walked in, Lexi, and I swear to you, it was like the room changed temperature. She was hot, not in a step-sibling forbidden fruit way, yet. Just objectively hot, tall, messy bun, vintage denim jacket covered in patches, black eyeliner that screamed, I listen to Mitski and don't call my dad. She walked in like she was starring in her own biopic, made eye contact with me, and smirked like she already knew I was going to be a problem. She sits down next to me at the table, says, so you're the mysterious Jake my dad keeps whining about. And I'm like, yup. That's me. Local disappointment, nice to meet you. She snorts. I smirk. Immediate vibe. Dinner starts. It's tense. Dennis keeps trying to get everyone to compliment the meatloaf, which is dry as chalk. Lexi whispers that it tastes like divorce and breadcrumbs. I nearly spit out my drink. We start whisper joking under our breath like we're 14-year-olds in the back row of detention. At one point, she dares me to slip a deviled egg into Dennis's coat pocket when he's not looking. I do it. I blame the wine. Anyway, after dinner, people start peeling off. Some go outside to smoke, someone's playing Candy Crush loudly in the living room. Me and Lexi? We end up on the back porch with a bottle of whatever wine was cheapest at Aldi. She lights a blunt, offers me a hit. I don't usually smoke, but in that moment I would have agreed to rob a bank if she asked. We're sitting there, trading stories like it's a sleepover. She tells me about her trash ex who once tried to propose to her at a Chili's. I tell her about the time I dated a girl who thought the moon landing was fake and that birds weren't real. We're laughing. We're buzzed. It's stupid. It's perfect. Then she hits me with it. So like, are we actually related? Or is this just some weird legal technicality? And I just freeze. Because I hadn't thought about it that hard. I mean, yeah, technically Dennis is my stepdad. And yeah, she's Dennis's daughter. But we didn't grow up together. We didn't share bath toys or take sibling photos. I had no emotional, sibling connection to this girl. It felt like flirting with a hot stranger at a bar, who just so happened to have the same last name on a legal form I never read. And I'm trying to come up with a normal response, something chill and adult-like, haha yeah I guess we are but this is harmless, when my mom strolls out with a casserole dish like she's entering a cooking competition and says, oh. You two are getting along. I'm so happy you finally got to meet your stepsister. Stepsister, there it was, the word, the official, legal, incest-adjacent branding, stamped like a seal onto the end of my hopes and brain chemistry. I choke on the smoke. Lexi? She dies laughing, like, real, unhinged cackling. Slaps her knee, wipes her eyes, and goes, "Welp. I guess that means I have to stop thinking about kissing you." And I'm like, what? But I'm also like, wait, what? Because here's the thing. That wasn't the kind of joke people make without at least thinking about it first. That was a slip, a peek behind the curtain. And I felt it, too. This weird tension, the kind you don't feel with people you're supposed to feel it with. And suddenly, I'm spiraling. Because this wasn't just weird. This was borderline Jerry Springer material. Lexi pats me on the shoulder, stands up, and casually walks back inside like she didn't just throw my entire moral compass into a blender. And I'm left there, alone, holding an empty wine glass and a half-smoked blunt, wondering if I'm the most emotionally confused man alive or just a product of modern family structures. Spoiler. It's both. 2 days. That's how long it took before my mom pulled the "help us bond as a family" card again and casually tossed me back into the moral minefield known as Lexi. It started with a text. Innocent on the surface. Downright nuclear underneath. "Can you help Dennis move boxes in the basement? Lexi will be there to smile." That smiley face read like a threat. I stared at it for way too long, thumb hovering over the reply button like I was about to accept terms and conditions that would void my soul. I could have made an excuse. Anything. Faked the flu. Blamed food poisoning from mom's dinner meatloaf. Hell, claimed I'd joined a commune in New Mexico. Instead I typed, "Yeah, sure," and hit send like a coward. The air in my chest went stale before I even left the house. When I got there, I heard music blaring from the basement, some moody indie band Lexi probably found on a playlist called Songs to Feel Too Much To. I took the stairs down 2 at a time, trying to shake the weird anticipation out of my legs. It didn't work. Lexi was already halfway through dragging an ancient recliner across the concrete floor. Her hair was up in a messy bun. Oversized flannel shirt, jean shorts, tattoos peeking out on her thighs and arms like little red flags with skulls on them. She didn't look at me when she spoke. "You're late. This basement is full of cursed energy and Dennis's emotional baggage. I've already inhaled at least 3 types of mold. Let me guess, one of them smells like beer and denial?" She snorted. That crooked half-smile curled at the edge of her mouth, the one that made me forget how to speak like a normal human being. We worked in silence for a while, but it wasn't peaceful. It was pressurized. Every sound was louder than it should have been. Every movement felt like it was waiting to mean something. I kept catching myself staring at her when she wasn't looking, and immediately hating myself for it. Then, out of nowhere, she dropped the box she was carrying onto a stack and turned to me. "Okay, so we're not talking about it?" I didn't have to ask what it meant. I figured you didn't want to. I figured you were too chicken to bring it up. We stared at each other across the dusty space between us. The tension wasn't new, it had been brewing since that dinner, but this was the first time either of us said anything about it out loud. "Lexi," I started, unsure where I was going. "It wasn't nothing," she cut in. "That night, that moment, I know." She sat down on an old armchair and crossed her legs. It squeaked beneath her like it knew it was about to witness sin. "So what do we do with it?" she asked. "Bury it? Pretend we're just 2 really flirty strangers who accidentally share a mailing address?" "We're not strangers. We're not siblings either." That hung in the air between us like a live wire. "So what are we?" I asked. She looked at me like she was waiting for me to catch up. "That's the problem, isn't it?" I moved to sit on the armrest across from her, leaving some kind of buffer zone. "It didn't help. I haven't been able to stop thinking about you," I admitted. She smiled, not smug, genuine. "Same." And then she said something that short-circuited my brain. "I thought you were going to kiss me that night." "I almost did. Why didn't you?" "Because I wouldn't have stopped." There it was. Honesty. Ugly, raw, and kind of beautiful in a way that made my spine feel like it was melting. She leaned forward slightly, elbows on her knees, eyes searching my face. "You still want to?" I didn't even answer. "I didn't need to." "I do too," she whispered. For a second, we just sat there. Close enough to feel it, but not close enough to touch. That single inch between us felt like the most dangerous distance in the world. Then she sat back. "We probably shouldn't. Yet, yeah, let's not be the cliché that makes out in the basement while moving old fishing gear. You're no fun. I'm fun, just patient." She winked. And then, of course, right on cue, Dennis stomped down the stairs like Godzilla in orthopedic shoes. TV won't connect again. I swear this smart tech is out to get me. Jake, fix it before I throw it out the window. He tossed me his battered laptop like it was a live grenade. I caught it, opened the lid, and nearly blacked out. Because Chrome was open, not minimized, no incognito, just full-on disaster. Tabs. Can step-siblings date legally? Reddit step-sibling real stories, not porn. How to tell if your kids are getting too close. Laws on step-sibling relationships in our state. I just sat there, staring. Frozen. Lexi leaned over my shoulder and whispered, Jesus Christ. He knows. Or he suspects, I muttered. This is basically digital panic. Dennis, meanwhile, was yelling at a Bluetooth speaker that keeps mocking me with beeps. He had no idea what was on his laptop screen, or maybe he did and was just emotionally dissociating like the rest of us. Lexi stood up, walked across the room, turned back to face me. So, you think he noticed the almost kiss? He noticed something, I said. Maybe not what happened, but what almost did. She walked back toward me, stopped an arm's length away. I looked up at her. She looked down at me. You know what the worst part is? She asked. That it's not stopping? She nodded. It's getting worse, and I'm not even sure I want it to stop. She stepped around me and headed for the stairs. Just before she disappeared up them, she said, if you change your mind about yet, let me know. And she was gone, leaving me with Dennis's laptop, a basement full of things I didn't want to unpack, and the unmistakable realization that not yet was becoming soon. There's something unholy about mixing family, booze, and lawn furniture. It's like inviting fate to crack its knuckles and say, you ready for things to get weird, champ? This wasn't supposed to be a big thing. Just burgers, a few drinks, low-key, according to Mom. Her exact words, which I should have known translated to invitational chaos with a side of burnt sausages. By the time I showed up, half the backyard was already transformed into a circus. Cheap streamers, 2 folding tables groaning under the weight of potato salad and various Jell-O-based side dishes, and about 24 family members I barely recognized, plus Lexi, posted up in a lawn chair like the queen of poor decisions. She was in a tank top, sunglasses, and combat boots. Hair in a messy ponytail. Red plastic cup in hand. Looking like trouble, looking like home. Late as usual, she said, raising her drink like a dare. Didn't want to peek too early, I shot back. The way she looked at me should have been illegal. It was like she knew exactly what I'd been thinking since the last time we spoke, which was dangerous because I hadn't stopped thinking about it. About her. I made the rounds, said hi to the required relatives, took a burger, avoided eye contact with my mom for the first 20 minutes. Every time I looked up, Lexi was watching me. Not in a creepy way. In a we're on the same page and it's on fire kind of way. At one point, she called me over to sit next to her, and we talked nonsense. How Dennis overcooked every piece of meat like it owed him money, how the fruit salad was 90% canned syrup, how Aunt Carol kept telling people she used to date a magician, and no one was brave enough to ask follow-ups. It felt normal, too normal, and that's when the real danger started. Because someone, might have been my cousin Jared, might have been vodka, shouted, "Yo! Who wants to play truth or dare?" And like the universe had nothing better to do, everyone cheered. I tried to fade into the background. I tried to stay near the cooler and pretend to care about the Sprite to beer ratio. But Lexi grabbed my sleeve and pulled me down next to her in the circle forming around the lawn chairs. "Come on," she said. "You owe me for not kissing me in the basement." My heart jumped out of my body and did a cartwheel into the bushes. "That's a weird IOU. Not if you actually pay it." I was in hell. A bright, sunlit, suburban backyard hell. And I wanted to stay. The first few rounds were fine. Embarrassing stories. Dare someone to do the Macarena. Shot of mustard. Lick a lemon. Middle school crap. I was starting to think maybe I'd survive it. Until Carol, 3 vodka-filled watermelon cubes deep, spun the bottle. It landed on Lexi. "Dare," she said immediately, smirking like she'd rehearsed this in the mirror. Carol lit up like it was her moment on The Bachelor. "I dare you, to sit on Jake's lap for the next 3 turns." Everything stopped. I mean everything. Even the wind paused to see what the hell I was gonna do. Lexi didn't miss a beat. She stood up, walked over, and settled herself on my lap like she'd paid rent to be there. Light as air, comfortable, familiar. Her body fit against mine like it was supposed to. This okay? She whispered. I don't know, I whispered back. But it's happening. People laughed. A couple made jokes. Someone coughed. Carol whooped. Dennis took a suspiciously long drink from his plastic cup. And then the game moved on, like it was normal. Lexi didn't squirm, didn't shift uncomfortably. She leaned back against me like we were made for this. I had one hand gripping the edge of the chair so hard my knuckles went white. The other hovered at her waist, unsure of where it belonged. Her perfume was stuck in my nose. My pulse was in my ears. Next turn, spin. Some poor cousin had to eat a hot dog with no hands. More laughter. Another spin, and then the bottle landed on me. Truth or dare? Someone shouted. Lexi turned her head just slightly, close enough for me to feel her breath on my cheek. Pick truth, she whispered. Be brave. So I did. I said, truth. That's when my cousin Megan, 16, nose pierced last week, full agent of chaos, smiled like a goblin and asked, if you could kiss anyone here, who would it be? You could feel the shift. Like the whole backyard took one collective breath. Everyone was staring. Lexi didn't move, didn't react, just waited, her hand resting on my knee like it was her seatbelt. I could have deflected, I could have cracked a joke. Said, Carol, got a laugh, escaped. But I didn't. Lexi. One word. That's all it took. A match to gasoline. The reaction? Chaos. Someone laughed. Someone gasped. Someone choked on a chicken wing. Dennis looked like he'd seen the ghost of all his failed marriages. Mom froze mid-bite with ketchup on her chin. And Lexi? She turned, looked at me, and kissed me. It wasn't long, wasn't dramatic, just a clean, confident, yes we're doing this kind of kiss. When she pulled back, she licked her lips and said, just for me, you sure? Never been more. The circle was dead silent. Except for Carol. Called it, she screamed, raising her watermelon cup like a damn oracle. I knew it, no one else knew what to do. Someone fake laughed. Someone else changed the subject. A kid asked, are they allowed to do that? And their mom muttered, I don't think so, before shuffling them away. Lexi stayed on my lap. No one stopped her. So, that kiss at the barbecue? The one that dropped like a bomb right in the middle of everyone's ribs and coleslaw moment? It didn't just spark drama. It lit the entire family on fire. Lexi and I left quietly, which is impressive considering the psychological explosion we'd just caused. No one tried to stop us. No one said anything. People just watched, mouths open, as we walked toward the gate like the final scene of a teen movie no one wanted to watch but couldn't turn off. Her hand brushed mine. We didn't hold hands, but the space between us buzzed like a power line. My mom avoided eye contact. Dennis? He looked like a man who'd just seen a UFO land on his grill. We didn't go anywhere together after. Didn't go to her place or mine. We just scattered. Because when you do something that nuclear, you don't immediately cuddle. You retreat to opposite corners and wait for the fallout. The fallout came fast. Within 2 hours, the family group chat, formerly a wholesome thread of vacation selfies, prayer emojis, and casserole recipes, imploded. It started subtly. Aunt Janet sent a message that read, Janet, I think we all need to process what we witnessed today. Followed by 3 praying hands, 2 confused face emojis, and 1 cryptic line. This isn't the way, kids. Then chaos kicked in. Megan, my cousin, certified menace, LMAO. They're not blood. Y'all acting like they kissed their twin. Uncle Phil. Gif of Cersei and Jaime Lannister awkwardly holding hands. Aunt Donna, sending prayers. Folded hands heartbreak, Grandma. What is happening? Someone call me. And then, someone renamed the group chat to Family but not like that family. Lexi sent me a screenshot and just wrote, new album name. I didn't reply. I was too busy trying not to cry laugh into a pillow. I turned my phone off for the rest of the night. The next morning, Lexi went full chaos mode. She posted a photo to her Instagram story. A blurry pic from the barbecue where she's still half on my lap, holding a drink, sunglasses tilted like a gremlin. The caption? Step closer kiss mark, bold. Loud, unapologetic. She followed that with a poll. Too far or not far enough? The results. 22%. Too far 78%. Kiss again PLZ. I didn't know if I wanted to scream or marry her on the spot. Meanwhile, my mom was radio silent. No texts. No calls. No passive-aggressive gifts. Just, nothing. And that was worse than if she'd stormed into my room and dramatically ripped down my childhood posters. Dennis? Full ghost. I saw him walk down the hallway once. We made eye contact. He nodded slowly, turned around, and walked the other way like a man who'd decided to retire from parenting altogether. It stayed that way for 2 days. Then came the knock. I opened the door to see my mom, holding a mug like it was a stress ball. We need to talk. Cue every internal alarm going off. She came in, sat down like she was about to deliver a eulogy. You and Lexi, are you serious? I hesitated, not because I didn't know, but because I did. Yeah, I said, I think we are. She closed her eyes for a second. You understand how this looks, right? We're not related. Jake, that's not the point. Then what is? It's the timing. It's the setting. It's the optics. It's that we are one family unit now, and people, especially older people, don't see nuance. They see you making out with your stepsister next to a watermelon full of vodka, and they panic. I wanted to argue, but she wasn't wrong. She sipped from her mug. You're adults. You can make your choices. But you've made things complicated for a lot of people. I didn't ask for this. Neither did I. We sat in silence for a long time. Eventually she said, I still love you. That won't change, but I need space. I nodded. I didn't expect forgiveness. Not yet. 2 days later, Lexi showed up at my door holding 2 coffees and a plastic bag. Figured you needed caffeine and moral support. I let her in. She kicked off her boots, sat cross-legged on my bed, and handed me the bag. Inside, a black hoodie, oversized, soft, on the front in big white block letters. Step into love. I stared at it like it was cursed. You're kidding. Limited edition. I got one too. We match now. Couples who ruin holidays together, stay together. I laughed harder than I had in days. Fell face first into my pillow. She just sat there smiling like a cat who knocked over a priceless vase and blamed gravity. We didn't talk serious that night. Didn't define anything. Didn't plan. We just watched YouTube, drank cold coffee, and existed next to each other in the same weird silence that had haunted us since day one. But this time it felt okay. At one point, she slid down and laid next to me. Not touching, just beside me. You think this is gonna work? I asked. She looked up at the ceiling. I think if it's already this hard, and we're still doing it anyway, it has to mean something. That's not very comforting. No, but it's real. I turned my head, looked at her. You scare the hell out of me. Good, she whispered. Means you're not numb. And just like that, we kissed again. Not in front of anyone. Not for shock value. Just for us. Quiet. Simple. Right. It's been a few weeks since then. The group chat's still chaotic. Aunt Janet won't look at me. Uncle Phil started sending weird cryptic memes. But a few people are coming around. Carol, obviously, remains our loudest fan. Megan wants us to start a podcast. Someone anonymously mailed us a copy of Flowers in the Attic, which is both rude and kind of iconic. Dennis hasn't said much, but he did leave 2 Red Bulls outside my door with a sticky note that said, "Don't make me a grandpa yet." I guess that's his version of acceptance. And my mom? She's not thrilled, but she hasn't kicked me out. She made dinner last week and Lexi was there. It was tense, but no one threw anything. That's progress. We're still figuring it out. Day by day. We haven't used the word relationship yet. But she's here, I'm here, and every time she walks into a room, the air feels like electricity. Yeah, we're a walking red flag. But for the first time in a long time, it feels good to be bad. AITA for falling for my stepsister and not giving a single damn anymore? Maybe, but if this is wrong, I'm not sure I want to be right.